the echo in your brain. You know you can't sustain the misconceptions in your mind. One day you'll see for sure what all of this was for. Then you can leave it all behind. The journey begins. I am the one, yeah, that will show the proof. I am the one, yeah, that is searching for the truth. I am the whispers of the logic in your mind. I am an agent of the logos. In the beginning was found this thing that cannot speak. It's how we all truly learn. It's only ever attained when one lets go of fear. So don't let wisdom pass you by. The journey begins. I am the one, yeah, that will show the proof. I am the one, yeah, that is searching for the truth. I am the whispers of the logic in your mind. I am an agent of the logos. It was there all along. How could I never have seen this thing that's danced all around? It wasn't until I left behind the things I believed that I could see things so clear. The journey begins. Become the one, yeah, that will show the proof. Become the one, yeah, that is searching for the truth. Become the whispers of the logic in their mind. Become an agent of the logos. Become an agent of the logos. We are the agents of the logos.
And we are live. Well, welcome everyone. It is Thursday, and I don't know what we're doing at the minute. I just know it's all changed, and I don't know what I can be bothered with and what I can't be bothered with, to be honest. But this is I guess this is a show for us to get our act in order for working out what we are actually doing. I think the live shows are still needed, but I guess they're not as important, obviously, as getting the actual videos and doing what we were doing. The live shows were hopefully to find people of a common, like a like mind. Not so sure how many there actually is. So I'm not really so sure what the idea of the live shows is all about. When people misrepresent you at every turn, speak to the larger crowds, right, and misrepresent you, then it's pretty obvious what the intentions of the arena that we're in is. So I think something's going to have to change within the arena, or within the arena that we're in, be able to keep it worthwhile us doing these live shows. To be honest, something needs to change with the way that we've changed over the time.
Yeah, it's a journey, right? I mean, we've said it before. We said it leading up to this year when you said you were going to make a change and things were going to start changing, and we knew that there's going to be some people that want to come on a journey with us and some people that will not. They're just satisfied to be in this arena and circle the same, old argumentative stupid ideas back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, like a ping pong. But those times are coming to an end, I think.
Well, I think it's about time that we should really talk about the thing that's happened within the arena where people have lost accounts within Discord. I don't know whether that's like a general thing of, people just losing accounts, getting banned for whatever reasons, whether people have just come to accept it. To me, losing an account would be a pretty big thing. I've got stuff linked to my Discord account, and luckily enough, I hadn't, or I'm not. Who's that in the chat? I've got there's somebody D in the Discord. I don't know who that is. I can't see who that is. Yeah, so there's recently a Discord channel that's gone down, and it appears that all of the mods or whatever that were on the Discord channel have also lost all of their Discord accounts, but nobody's saying anything about it or whatever. I mean, I know we're not part of that arena, and people probably losing Discord accounts, they may not be so proud of actually doing that. So it's understandable that there are people that don't want to talk about it, but it is handy for other people to hear. I think the risks of the ways that you can lose your accounts. I haven't lost my account. Who is that, Kev? I can't see. Yeah, that's all I've got.
Dinosaur Falcon.
Dinosaur
Falcon. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's just an issue we got with
something.
His name's on YouTube. Discord. It looks. Yeah, no.
Showing up on YouTube.
Yeah, which possibly means that someone's hidden in. So okay. You will have to go in.
I'll have a look at that for you now, Dinosaur. If it is somebody, if I find this on the block list, then is somebody going to be brave enough to admit that they've actually hidden him?
Would be,
because that's
would be interesting to see who it is
with the mod. I don't know whether you'd.
You can't tell though. No. That's the thing.
It sometimes can be accidental.
Yeah,
somebody should be able to say sorry. I've done that. Yeah. That's what I'd hope for.
If it was me, I am sorry. I would never do it on purpose. But I don't think it was me because I'm barely in this live chat. I just come in there, say hello.
Right, it might take a bit because this is a pretty extensive list. There's loads of people on these lists, isn't there?
Then no, not loads of people. Loads of soccer accounts.
Yeah.
Which I bet you 50 belong to one person.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, there's Lilith from last night, so they're not in any particular order.
Let's not forget the people impersonating other people as well. We have that new thing too going on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They have multiple accounts, and if you ban one or restrict one, they will just pop back up with another one within 5 minutes. I mean, many people have watched it happen on live streams. Just the same person coming back in, 30 seconds after they get banned.
I can't go back through it again. I can't see him. Yeah, I can't see you on the list. Well,
we'll have to go through it tomorrow, maybe.
Yeah. Yep. This is why our guidelines say what they say for the mods. So mods, if you're listening in the YouTube chat, be careful what you're doing.
yeah, but if anybody does want to come in and talk about this banning and losing stuff, we're up for that tonight, I think.
Well, I think it's fair just to because I don't think anybody knows what happened, right?
No, nobody ever talks about it. That's
right.
What I said earlier. It just gets sort of quietly mentioned, and then that's it. Nobody really explains what happened.
So for those that don't know, you want to put it out there, Emma? What happened in general? I mean, you don't know specifically why.
A server got shut down, and anyone who was a mod on that server or above, anything to do with the running of the server, they lost their Discord accounts.
Their entire accounts nuked.
Yes, gone like that instantly. And nobody's sort of talking about why it happened and why these people lost their accounts just for being a mod on a server.
And that's pretty, as Beth said, I mean, people that have a lot tied up into their Discord accounts. It's pretty scary stuff. You lose your entire Discord account.
Well, the thing is, I mean, to me, it just seems a little bit risky for you to take on a mod ship on a Discord server. And it would be interesting to know exactly how many people there were that got caught up in that. Because there seems to be people all over. It's across the board.
I know like 4 or 5 people at least that got caught up in that.
Yeah. And some big names, you would imagine.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if that was like a YouTube or a Twitter account, it would be a different thing, wouldn't it? So is Discord any different than Twitter or YouTube for your account that you link your name to?
Not anymore after this. No, not anymore. That's the answer.
Well, I don't know. Like, what do you have linked to your account? How many years you've been in? Maybe if you've got like a Nitro subscription.
Right. And that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. In Discord, for those that don't know, Nitro boosts certain Discord channels. And if you have a bunch of mods that got nuked for being in a different channel and they're part of your channel and they got nuked, well, their Nitro gets nuked and then that affects your Discord channel. So it's got tentacles. This whole thing has got tentacles and you don't know why. It's like nobody knows why. Like what specifically happened to get nuked?
Well, I asked the owner and he doesn't know why.
He doesn't even know why?
No, he told me he thinks because they don't like him. He doesn't have any idea.
Oh, come on now.
Why has he got so many
people? Well, that's
people?
what he told me. I don't know.
He's drawing everybody else in that he's giving mod ships to. Surely that has to be a thing now. I mean, want to be a mod on the channel on the new server that he makes, just because he thinks people have got it out for him. That he's going to drag everybody else and make everybody else lose their accounts. That's terrible.
Yeah, that's of course. Yeah, I even heard somebody tell him, "Please don't make me a mod." Yeah, I mean it's terrible for him. Yeah, this is not right because something happens on a channel, everybody is responsible for it. I mean, come on. What is that? Isn't that what the fascists do? If you do something wrong, they harm your family in the old country. Like, what is this?
Well, yeah, they make sure that you are pay the price for anything that anyone else in your sphere of influence, let's say, has
Yeah,
done. Yeah, absolutely. So that way, not only will you be more cautious, but you're more apt to blow other people in for something that might even be borderline that.
yeah. Like this is like a bridge too far, as they say, right?
Well, I think
But
so, but the thing is, what like Emma said, why isn't anyone talking about it except us?
yeah, and why is it so they target the server? I'm guessing for there's some reason because of people posting stuff, whatever. But those people are in a lot of other servers, but their accounts never seem to disappear. So there's so many troll Discord accounts.
Hmm.
We've all seen them. I don't see them regularly disappearing.
Not at all.
Yeah, this is something entirely new. Like to me, this is unacceptable. I'm sorry, but there has to be a line drawn.
Well, and then again, the reaction or not non-reaction, especially in this particular arena. I mean, I guess a few people talked about it in Geo's SE, right? But it
Yeah,
wasn't a
there was
big,
talk of it for sure. Yeah,
but it wasn't a big thing. Like you'd think this would be a major thing in all corners of Discord, but it was like just a speed. It's like a speed bump of somebody that ran over someone. It's like, what did you feel that? Well, yeah,
Maybe
there's a dead body back there, but who cares? I mean,
Maybe it's because it's so easy for a lot of them just to switch to another account.
another account. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, like for someone like me, I've got this account and then I've got one that I do live streaming on, which I've, very rarely use now. That's it.
yeah. Well, I'm talking about principle of the matter.
Yeah, yeah,
It's the
yeah.
principle. Yeah. Like, who do you think you are? Like, what is this? The Wild West? You make up things as you wish. I mean, I don't know.
Well, yeah, and again, what was discussed? What was talked about? Why? What was the reason? If the owner doesn't even know the reason, he doesn't like it. Well, wow.
Do any of you guys know how many servers there are on Discord?
Oh,
Billions.
thousands, tens of thousands.
It's millions.
I looked it up one time. It was like at the time when I looked it up, it was 6.7 million servers on Discord.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
geez, boy, well, I was low, wasn't I?
6.7 million.
That's crazy.
Wow.
I
See,
don't know.
this
I
is
just
what
don't know.
happens. Platforms get big and then they think they turn communism, but hey, like, make no mistake, I love Discord, but if you fail, if you mess up, somebody will take your place. That's a guarantee.
Well, it's just the way that new social media, right? The way it's going, you have to be careful on what you're doing. Don't spread misinformation, and just keep on the good side of them, because they'll come after you, right? There are people out there that purposely will attempt to use that thing to take you down. We've seen it.
Oh, That's my whole point. Let's say now a bad actor comes in our chat and posts something that's not correct. Does that mean we're responsible for it? No, right?
Well, the mods, the mods
I mean,
should be
surely.
able to keep it away, right? You should
Yeah,
know what
eventually
to
the mods,
post
when
and
brought
not
to the
post.
attention, will take care of it. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But I think half of the time, these troll characters that you have to deal with, everybody knows that they're around. They'll be the ones posting that stuff and then reporting the channel for it being posted.
Exactly.
It's a tactic that they use. So therefore, I think it needs to be known. Like we had that imposter here the other day. We pointed out that, there's an imposter around. Nobody's bothered. Nobody else within this arena is bothered. Like, we get rid of the imposter, point them out that there is one around here. Now a Discord channel's gone down. Load of people have lost their accounts. Well, that's because there are people out there that do that sort of stuff purposely. I think that's part of the arena that you're in. Like, that's modern day. Now, the people that just have these little accounts, they're not bothered. But I think the people that are involved in this, the ones that want to take on this mod ship, they're going to be the ones that are going to be hit hardest. Who's going to want to be part of a Discord server as a mod if you can lose your account? You could be a mod during the day and then somebody come on and do something of a nighttime. When you're not there, you're sleeping.
That's what I mean. It's the system could be abused. I hope you're listening, Discord. This is ridiculous what you did. I mean, ridiculous. Sorry.
Yeah, we've got we do have a little community here. There are only a few of us, but it is about this community now. This whole entire server is all about what this group of people on here do, and these live shows, they're all about the same sort of thing. It's just for us to be able to represent ourselves. The reason we started this live show, this live stream, was to show people, because we knew for a fact there are people out there misrepresenting us. And if we never say anything, then all people would ever hear about us is the lies that other people talk about us and how they misrepresent whatever arguments have been going. Now, in the past, we've been sat watching that. Now, different. I'm going to start pointing these things out. There is one
We
of
should
those
start with a
things.
2-minute intro.
I will. I think we will go to that because it has to be done. There are people, you may have heard people out there misrepresenting the arguments that we have now. They are very simple arguments that I've been saying ever since day one. There are a group of people that like to say, they like to label you. They like to point fingers and say, well, you are a flat earther. And then you say, no, I'm not. Well, you were a flat earther. And you say, no, I wasn't. I was never been a flat earther. It's ridiculous. But there's a group of people that like to misrepresent just about every step that you ever make. There is people who contradict themselves and each other about other people's opinions. And they don't even have their own arguments sorted. Yeah, they want to misrepresent what other people's arguments are as well. They're not happy enough not knowing what their own arguments are or making their own arguments. They have to misrepresent other people's arguments too. But mainly, the point is, within this, this server, this on the level server, it's called on the level for a very good reason. We just talk truthfully to each other, and we can discuss things. If you don't think so, just come on in, try it. But if you don't like truth, then you're not going to like the conversations that you're going to have, especially the simplicity that we use to break things down. And I feel that we do have a responsibility for the people around here. That's why this server will be changing. This server is going to become, well, it already is a server for us, but with me personally, I've had enough of the, I don't know, what do you call it? Dogmatic globe trolls.
Yeah, we're not going to make time for trolls anymore.
Global Troll Association. Yes.
Yeah,
Let's
that's a
get
good
rid
way.
of them.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, Rob. We're not gonna take time for trolls anymore, because as Bev said, there was some learning to be done, right? Especially when we went through the trivium and we started to understand the grammar and the logic and the rhetoric, and so there was a place to be able to observe people, observe how they act, listen, watch them as they type furiously in our live chat or in the YouTube chat. It was instructive, and that instructive period is now over.
Yeah.
So come on
Nothing
into
else to learn.
Discord. Yeah, come on into Discord and talk with us. Have a conversation, right? We're not interested in simply live chat text stuff going on. I mean, that's fine, and the people that are here in this Discord do spend a good amount of time typing things in the live chat. But that's not essentially what this is. This is, I think Bev, you'd said it a while back, right? It's like an internet pub. It's like, come in a pub. You don't sit there and text the guy next to you or the gal next to you on their phone. You sit and have an actual conversation with another human being. You get to hear their voice. They get to hear your voice. It's what we have to start getting into, because this internet thing now, guys, with AI and everything else, and people uh, you know being an imposter of other people, and people taking down entire Discord servers because of Lord knows what. We've got to do our little part, even with the few people we have, to just promote conversation, real conversation.
Yeah. I feel that the Discord server, I know Discord servers go down a lot. And I don't know, like I say, I don't know how many mods there were on that channel and who the mods were on the channel, and, what sort of stuff was getting posted or whatever. But, I mean, that would be helpful to people so we know what sort of stuff not to post. But I guess we've already learned what sort of people not to let in. Because I remember that just recently we've had some of the people, I mean, we don't have many people actually banned. And we had some people wanting to be unbanned. Well, that was wise that we didn't, because I don't think there's a point in unbanning somebody. If you're going to ban somebody, make sure it's for a good reason and don't let them back again. And if you find out they're using sock accounts or doing whatever, then they're going to come back in with motive, with intent. They're going to want to try and do something.
Hey, Bev, we've been
12
watching those
people.
we've been watching those videos of the guys in the gaming, and they go around and catch the cheaters and ban them and stuff. Maybe there's a market out there for those kind of videos. Hunting down the Discord troll.
Go and find in the yeah, I don't know. You'd never find them, would you? They've got hundreds of different accounts.
You'd be doing it forever and ever.
Yeah. I think the idea is for us to just let people know what's going on. There's some weird things that happen within Discord. You've got to, well, I mean, I don't know if there's any other channels that do this sort of thing, you know, for conversation or whatever. I personally like Discord because of the ability for you to share your screen. But it seems like nobody wants to be involved with these debates and stuff. The arguments that we're going to be bringing are going to involve these slides and videos and stuff. So it's going to be easy for us to be able to represent things. I'm hoping more people are going to come in for the conversation. But I'm guessing if you're going to have to run the risk of losing your account on these servers. Don't know, maybe the length of time a server's been up for might have to give credit.
Somebody will replace them.
Mm.
It is the best platform now. My favorite, as a matter of fact. But if they mess up, somebody will replace them.
But just think where all of those people that were on that server, where are they now?
Well,
Well, a lot of them have come back with other accounts.
yeah, they've just made new accounts. Like nobody even knows that they've
No, I
lost
mean
their
I
account.
don't mean the people who lost their accounts. I mean the people who were on the servers posting the stuff that they shouldn't have been.
Yeah, be posting it in different places.
Yeah, yeah. Your server could be next. I'm talking general. Yeah.
Yeah, which is again why the change of things and the idea that you can just sit in someone's Discord live chat and post anything you like. It's dangerous, and there's a to a certain extent, I agree with SC that like Discord has a role to blame here, a big one because they took the action. But guys, you have to understand if you don't know what ESG is, you guys have to look up ESG. Google ESG. This is why these companies are doing what they're doing because of ESG. They have to adhere to some global standard of global, can we use the word worldwide standard of here I'm gonna type I'm gonna tell you what ESG is so you don't have to Google it yourself. Hang on a second. Has anybody else looked into this? You guys?
Environmental, social, and governance.
Yes, environmental.
Thank you.
social,
I
and
don't have
governance.
time to Google right now, Kevin. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so that is all of the investment banks around the world. So where these companies get their money and get investment is now tied in with a score provided by I don't know who, somebody called an ESG score. And that ESG score is how your company handles environmental and social, let's say, topics, and the governance, that's what the G is, around those things. I know this because the company I belong to definitely has ESG. We are told as employees what that means and how important it is to the company because they can't get investment dollars if they don't hit high enough ESG scores. So that's why this is happening. So the trolls are able to use this, the fact that these companies have to adhere to ESG to take down speech that they don't like because the S is the social piece, right?
Right, so is that would that be a plus on Discord for getting rid of the channel, or would that be a minus for them
It would be a
having to get
plus.
rid of?
A
Right,
plus.
so these trolls can help
Yes.
Discord
Yes.
raise their thing.
Yep. Exactly. If Discord doesn't, so maybe the owner of that server is right. Maybe they don't like him, right? But Discord could potentially send out trolls. I'm not saying they're doing this. I'm saying it's possible to put crap in a server's live chat that would intentionally break rules, and specifically the ESG rules that the company has to abide by. And then, oh, look, sorry, we have to ban your server. So this is a big game that's getting played, and this is on the broader free speech issue, which we don't always spend a lot of time talking about. But since this came up, it's pretty dang important, right? That's why I say it's important to get back to speaking to individuals via voice as human beings. But you'll see in the Discord and the YouTube, no one really wants to do that. They just want to shit talk or do whatever they want to do, type whatever they want to type. And there are consequences to that, and they can play right into the hands of these companies that have to adhere to these ESG scores. And bye your speech. They don't care about your speech. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, I'd say free speech is free speech to a limit, but I mean, what I've seen is if you stick to advanced simplicity and stick to truthful statements, doesn't matter how many people say you're lying or whatever, you don't ever seem to get shut down. I've never been suspended on my Twitter account.
Yep.
And I've never lost an account on Discord. All of the servers that we're in are still up. Everything's still fine. Like, we've never had all of the things that other people have. And I can only say that's because we stick to the honesty and the simplicity. Keep it real. A lot of people do say that we lie all the time. But strangely enough, we've never been told off for misinformation. So the only people that seem to be giving the misinformation are the people that say we're lying. Because nobody else seems to think we're lying. Definitely not misinformation. Shout out Blue Marble Science and Flat Earth Math. And their accusations of lying on multiple people. We have to stick to our self rules, I think. I mean, not that anybody else has ever set rules for me that I have to follow. I can't see the point in talking about fantasy stuff.
I need to just throw in two more names that happen to be on the other side of the spectrum that like to also misrepresent us. And that would be Brian's Logic and Refracted Curvature, which is an odd name.
Yes. Yeah, there is a video going around that we're not been privileged to see, coming from a guy called Nathan Oakley. But it's Nathan Oakley and his crew that like to, I'd say, give out misinformation, misrepresent us. We will got a 2-minute clip. I don't know how to get you guys to hear it. I might need to
People still listen to that show? Really?
I heard 10th Man the other day. I was listening. I listened to here, like, so it was some of the most depressing stuff I'd heard. He was talking to Matthew Learns like he was a child. But, like, you wouldn't even talk to a child like that. So strange.
Yeah, there's no value there whatsoever.
Anyway, there is a video going around that Nathan has done, but he's keeping it members only for some, well, I don't know for what reason. I think he just wants to shit talk about me, but not let me know that he's shit talking about us. Keep it members only, so you keep it hidden. There it is. Download. Brian's logic, innit? Let me get this file now. Right. It's only a video for media player, so there's not going to be any stuff. So you guys can hear that, right? Or you can see that in the Discord. This is a 2-minute clip that we've been given from the introduction. Was it, you say, the first couple of minutes of the said thing that Nathan Oakley's keeping private? So there we go. Listen to this. I'm going to pause it a few times, I think.
If you can't find a better description than the word flat, then what's the problem? Do you know what I mean? People are listening to Dave and them, and they're literally changing. Dave is doing their thinking for them. How weak are these people?
So that's Brian's logic that says Bev. Well, he does say Bev and these others, so listen.
Then what's the problem? Do you know what I mean?
Oh.
People are listening to Dave and them, and
Bev and them. So I take it that them is you guys, right? The ones that speak anyway. So you would definitely be them. And what does he do?
They're literally changing. Bev is
Changing.
doing their
pronouns.
thinking
Sorry.
for them.
Bev's doing the thinking for him.
They're thinking for them. How weak are these people?
How weak are these people? So I'm guessing he's talking about you, the people that are listening.
Yep.
And you
That
guys...
we had a huge disagreement with yesterday.
Well, I'm just like everyone listening. Right, I don't know how many people are listening to the Nathan Oakley show when this was on. How many people there were listening there, but Brian's logic seems very confident that I'm doing, well, me and everybody else is doing the thinking for everybody else that's listening. And how weak are the people that's listening because we're doing the thinking for them.
And specific to a topic, though, you might have to go back a little ways because Brian says what the topic is that makes him say this.
Flat. It's
flat.
Like it's about definition of flat as well.
Yeah, flat.
Yeah.
There's no better description for the thing that they stand upon, the realm on which they stand, than flat.
That's the best that they can come up with, and
Best
there's no better.
That's ridiculous.
Nothing better. Nothing better to call the realm which you stand than flat. Sorry, Emma.
No, I was just going to ask, just to clarify, is this the video that nobody can watch unless they pay for it?
Yeah, this is, you have to be a member to be able to.
And the video is about you.
Yes. Yeah, and okay. I wasn't told by Nathan or Brian's logic or any of the refracted curvature, anyone that was actually talking about us. We just had to find out from somebody who is a member, right? One of Nathan Oakley's members. Because there's a rift being placed, obviously, between what people can talk about and what people have to misrepresent. So he thinks that everybody else is not having to think because we're doing the thinking. I mean, the channel is Try Thinking, but it doesn't mean that you don't have to think for yourself. Very strange, isn't it? Right, so I mean, that's only at the beginning. 26 seconds is a bit more.
Well, you know, his topology versus that argument.
His topology versus that argument. Does anyone know?
What argument is that then?
I haven't got a fucking clue. I literally do not know what
Who
this
is-
guy.
which-
This is
which was that
refracted
guy?
curvature, I think.
Is that the one who always has the children screaming in the background?
Mhm. Yep.
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, you know, his topology versus that argument.
His topology versus
That argument.
the flat.
Is that what
Yeah,
it is?
I think
That
so,
argument
yeah.
was flat.
I think the other bit is it's not flat, right? Why is it not flat?
Unspoken. This is unspoken argument.
He can't even say, right, what the argument is because listen to it follow on.
How weak are these people?
How weak are you?
Well, you know, his topology versus that argument.
That
The
argument.
ballers love that one, by the way, because that's how they get away from any baseline whatsoever.
That's how they get away from any baseline whatsoever. Says a guy that literally hasn't got a fucking clue about what the argument that we bring is. The topology versus whatever argument.
A baseline? Is that
Yeah, that's
is
how
it-
they get away from the baseline, he says.
the baseline?
Yeah. So
Is
listen
that
to
a
it again.
technical term? Technical term, baseline?
Well,
I don't know.
might come up a bit more in a minute. Look.
Because that's how they get away from any baseline whatsoever.
It's how they get away from any baseline whatsoever. Now,
I
can you
suppose
remember our actual argument? Sorry, Emma. Go on.
No, I was just going to say, I suppose it would make him mad if all you ever do is argue with Globers.
Yeah.
Apart from that, why would you care?
Well, the baseline argument is the statement that level is horizontal and the proofs that go around it, right? So where's the baseline? What baseline are we trying to establish? The horizontal, right? At least we are trying to start a baseline now.
but he already said
refracted
Please.
curvature-
That is the same baseline that they're trying to use in their angles to lights in the sky.
No, I'm pointing out, right, that we want to establish the level is horizontal baseline so we can have a common understanding of the baseline. He says that the ballers get around the baseline argument because of topology. Well, I don't know what sort of argument that is. There's no topology versus anything. We have a statement that level is horizontal and the associated proofs to go with that. I'd say that is the baseline. So the ballers or anybody else trying to divert from the actual level is horizontal discussion is people wanting to divert from the baseline, I'd say. Refracted curvature. If you want to come and have a discussion, it's open for it. Anybody can have that discussion. But the baseline that we are trying to establish is the starting line that everybody has to work from. Someone has to work from something to start off with. That's called the baseline. This guy is trying to say that the ballers get around it. I mean, like, this is a misrepresentation of an argument. One, on his behalf, but then two, to say that the ballers get around it. Well, the ballers only get around it because they're obfuscating. They're ECV isn't allowing them to address the issue. Level is horizontal.
Is that argument? The ballers love that one, by the way, because that's how they get away from any baseline whatsoever. You know,
That's right.
but when you apply his logic in that Earth has mountains and valleys, therefore it's not flat. You know, you can say, well, a water level has microscopic undulations, therefore it's not level. Is that what you're getting at, Bev?
No,
You didn't just say that, did you?
he did.
Genius.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's just genius.
When you apply the logic to show elevation changes from the baseline, then you can say it's not flat. It's the same to this guy is saying, what did he say? The water level?
Well,
Microscopic
a water level
That's
undulations on the water.
He says that water is not perfectly
Yeah.
flat. So
flat. You know, you can say, well, a water level has microscopic undulations, therefore it's not level. Is that what you're getting at, Bev?
A water level has microscopic undulations. I don't think he understands what a water level is. Again, we might have to go over these tools, the basic tools, for people to understand. Refracted curvature.
So,
if you want to
So
call
he
it.
didn't know what the argument was, and he doesn't know what the tool is.
Yeah,
Correct.
and he's misrepresenting not flat with level. Wait, I haven't got a clue. A
And I'm
water
pretty sure
level
that was
isn't
the end
flat.
of the first clip.
No, there's another minute left of this.
Oh shit.
for me this is very understandable, because they on Nathan Oakley they often or always, I would say that level is flat. So they equivocate flat and level. So it was always, as I heard many times, level means flat. That's why he is using this kind of that kind of language, because he is equivocating level with flat. So when he's saying that there are microscopic undulation, it means that it is not level, but it means that it is not flat, because they equivocate this.
Yeah, well, a water level isn't flat. So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's one of the easiest ways to refute that. But it doesn't stop it from being level. Again.
And remember, what are they predicating on? So this is something we're going to have to get used to doing, right? Going back and looking at the subject upon which they're predicating.
Big E.
Big E, yeah. So they're predicating flat of the Earth. That's what they're doing. Predicating flat of the Earth.
Yeah. Which does sound ridiculous when you say it like that.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yet that's their main argument.
Yep.
And why is he giving up a baseline? What's that all about?
Well, I think there's an ECV issue here about what they're talking about, because they've conflated like the dogmatic globers. They have their monad that disappears, don't they? The moment they go looking for it. Well, flat earthers are much the same. They like to think they're talking about a baseline, but they want the baseline to be flat. But they want the mountains to be the baseline. They want the earth to be the baseline too. So the moment they go looking for it, they don't know what they're looking for.
Yeah, it seems we're the ones that understand the baseline, and you're the one that doesn't, bro. Sorry, Paul, but come on, you got to work on this.
Yeah. The initial statement at the beginning was, the earth's not flat, but level is horizontal. You can't equivocate them. They're not equivocal. It's not the same thing. saying that level is horizontal.
Equivalent.
Yes, they don't even sound the same. But that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make them the same thing. And it's not. Level being horizontal is not the same as it's flat. Or the earth is flat. They're not the same thing. And I think that's where this whole arena gets mixed up. And confused in the fact that they want me to be on one side or of the other, where, you know, like these non-arguments that have been played within this arena. I don't know. I think it sounds really strange just to hear people talking about it, because the moment you start talking about it, then people associate you with flat earthers. Because nobody else wants to bother talking about it. There's no point.
No,
it gets after that.
it's simpler than that. Like when they say the Earth has mountains, valleys, and all of this, that means it's not flat. It's like, you moron. You're looking.
Right. So this is again.
This part's good. This part's really good.
Yeah. Right, so listen.
It's simpler than that. Like when they say the Earth has mountains, valleys, and all of this, that means it's not flat. It's like, you moron. You're looking at the wrong definition of flat. Here it is.
There's no definition that comes. So
None.
if somebody
For
says,
7 seconds.
He does give it. It just takes him a second to gather his thoughts.
No,
Okay.
7 seconds. 7
All right.
seconds.
It's coming.
Because we don't mean that there's a 2-disc, a 2D disc. We don't mean that when we say the Earth is flat. We're talking about, well, for all intents and purposes, across a distance, you have zero, that things are either above or below.
Did you get that?
You
That's
have
the
a
definition.
zero
Wow.
that things are either above
Wow.
or
That's the
below.
definition of flat.
Yeah.
Like a mountain and a valley.
No, there's a zero.
Zero. There's a zero.
That makes it pretty clear, you moron.
But where's the
Right.
zero?
Well,
We don't
just
know.
There is
There
a
is
zero.
one.
He
Is
just
it-
said there
Yeah.
is.
Is
There
the
is, you
zero
moron.
on the mountaintop or on the
Horizontal's the
bottom?
zero.
No, he didn't say that.
No.
But horizontal, you can put horizontal on any elevation, so it
Yeah,
doesn't
and that
mean
would be
anything.
your zero.
Yeah, but he didn't say that, Rob. You can't assume that necessarily.
Right.
Yeah.
Elijah may
They
not
need
have
to be
meant
more
that.
clear with their words.
There is. Everything has an elevation, right, of whatever height. So that's referred to the zero, right? So everything has a zero. It's everywhere.
Sound
Like-
familiar?
like Blue
Where we
Marble
said it's
Science
everywhere,
says.
everywhere. It's
Yeah.
exactly right. It's exactly right.
Almost
You guys
as if
gotta
they're
check
the
that
same
out,
team.
man.
Almost as if they're the same team.
I was just gonna say the ballers must love that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Refracted curvature. The ballers must love that.
But listen
So,
to
You're
it
totally
again.
agreeing
Go
with
on.
them.
Yeah, can we also who was that speaking? Can we clarify
That was Elijah.
That was
Elijah.
Elijah and refracted curvature. So I'm going to go back to, and it's like 2 minutes, so it's not that much. We'll miss Brian out. We'll do refracted curvature and then Elijah. So just listen to this, right? So this is on a different channel, and there's only a brief few seconds of people's brain farts. But listen to what they say. How many mistakes?
Baseline whatsoever, you know. But when you apply his logic in that Earth has mountains and valleys, therefore it's not flat. You know, you can say, well, a water level has microscopic undulations, therefore it's not level. Is that what you're getting at, Bev?
No.
No,
It gets after that.
it's simpler than that. Like when they say the Earth has mountains, valleys, and all of this, that means it's not flat. It's like, you moron. You're looking at the wrong definition of flat. Here it is.
Right, now where do you reckon he gets this definition of flat from? Because I'm not too sure. I think he might have
Nowhere.
just made this up. This might be
He
like
had
you
to come up with
moron.
it real quick.
Go on.
He came up
There-
with it himself real quick.
There is like 20 or 30 descriptions of flat. So
Yep.
Of what's this? This
highly
is not
contextual.
one. He had to
Can
make
I,
another one up.
Can
Go on.
I just tell you what it sounds like to me?
Yeah.
It sounds like a bunch of grown men who picked a team name for themselves at the beginning, you know, when they started out, and they thought it was great and it was catchy, and nobody really deeply thought about it. And then all of a sudden, someone's come and pointed out what their name actually means, and they don't like it.
They don't like somebody going round saying it's not flat, right?
Yes, it is hard to psychologically hard to retract, because you know, all these years fight for flat Earth cause, etc. So now would be lost. So
It's not even, flat's not a shape.
Oh, yeah, we get onto that.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Brian, yeah. But yeah, listen.
Because we don't mean that there's a 2-disc, a 2D disc. We don't mean that when we say the Earth is flat. We're talking about, well, for all intents and purposes, across a distance, you have zero, that things are either above or below.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Exactly.
just a description. There's no other way to describe it. That's the problem. There isn't another way to describe it.
There isn't
There
another
isn't
way
another way.
to describe it. Does anybody even know what we are describing?
he is talking about horizontal, and the difference between him and bowlers is that they say that this is equal elevation, but on curved, let's say, surface or whatever. So that's the difference. But this is not what they mean when they say flat Earth, if they say that the Earth is flat.
What
Yeah,
are they
say
predicating
they're
on?
talking about
Again.
the Earth. They're not talking about
Yeah.
horizontal. They
Nope.
daren't say horizontal. They're like the ballers,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's a word that they can't use.
Like garlic to a vampire. It's the strangest thing.
And
So-
just to point out quickly that Babs is on a sock account in the YouTube chat.
Yeah, that's been Babs for a fair bit.
Jimmy Babs is still kicking around. Man, you must be a glutton for punishment.
Yeah. Right, so I'll rewind this a little bit because this is Brian's logic. This is full-on logic of the Brian category. Here
Just
we
a
go.
Brian
description.
variety.
There's no other way to describe it. That's the problem. There isn't another way to describe it. So being pedantic about it and saying there's elevation changes doesn't change how it has to be described. Because as we pointed out before, if you're claiming it's not flat, then you are claiming a shape.
If you're claiming not flat, then you are claiming a shape. So what Brian did
That sounds logical.
in his lead up to it was he invented a straw man that said flat is no shape. Therefore, if you claim not flat, then you are claiming a shape. And that's what he's just referred to there, the discussed earlier.
I have a
Brian's
challenge
logic.
for Brian. I have a challenge for Brian and his logic. Perhaps he can satisfy this challenge. Brian, please go find one example of an antonym for flat that has anything to do with shape. That's a challenge. Because you said not flat equals a shape. Find an antonym for flat. There's lots of definitions for flat. I think paper said 30. I had found, I think Merriam-Webster has like 19 or 20. I mean, any one of them. There's lots of opportunity for you to find an antonym of flat that is a shape of any kind, or even alludes to a shape. Go on.
And did you know as well, notice as well that Elijah starts talking about the disc.
Yep.
Now that's, if that isn't an example of how to play a game that's being set up for you to be involved in, everybody knows it's a circle. The 2D shape that he's talking about is a circle, not a disc. A disc is like a frisbee. But yet, there is a group of people that wish you to use the disc word rather than circle, because circle's inconvenient. So these guys, yeah, they're playing a game for a different team, and that team would be the model afflicted team. And we're not part of that. We're part of the reality team, where we have to debunk these fantasies that people have, and hopefully help people that come into this arena as genuine inquisitive people. And we have to let them know that it's definitely not flat. Sorry, guys. I know you've got upset, and you have got Team Flat, and you've got all Flat Earth Discords and Flat Earth Debate and Debate Flat Earth
T-shirts.
and more. Yeah, mugs and all of that. It's just, it's not flat. Sorry.
It's a derogatory term as well. I mean, why don't you see that? It was written in presidential speeches, as we know. It's a derogatory term. Don't be afraid to shed it. Don't be afraid.
But see, you can't shed it, SE, if you have the same thing the ballers have, which is a faith in something that you cannot know. If you have a faith in something that you cannot know, you will not give it up. You can't give it up.
I suppose that's a problem. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, that's why reality is such a difficult thing, right? Because we have said many times, we don't give a shit about shape. None of us here care. Why? Because we cannot know the realm upon which we stand, what it is. But we do know that whatever it is definitely not flat. Not the water, not the earth. It's definitely not flat.
Provable. Absolutely provable. Yep.
Absolutely. And it's definitely not a circle. So
absolutely not a circle. Another thing.
Exactly. We don't care what the shape is. And that's why Bev has been pounding this idea forever, that horizontal is a thing that can be established, and it doesn't care about the shape or lack thereof of the thing beneath it. Doesn't care at all.
Yep. And another thing I was trying to drive through today, Kevin, to some people is this: to know a shape of something, you must view it in its entirety. You must be able to view it and manipulate it in its entirety. Otherwise, you have nothing. Hands up. How many people here have viewed the earth in its entirety to make shape claims? Anyone? That's what I thought. Thank you.
Yep.
It's as simple as that.
You missed pictures from space. Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't talk fantasy. Don't talk about something clearly you know that you don't know. It's like talking about Harry Potter or King Kong. Same thing.
I'd
Oh, I
say.
gotta.
Oh, go on.
I was just gonna say I gotta read a couple things from the live chat with Saragaki. He's quoting Elijah saying, "You moron," he says, and as he presents us with an oxymoron, the wrong definition. If it's wrong, then it's not P.
Yeah.
I describe a mountain as a mountain, personally. Rocky, rugged, windy, unforgiving. Are we playing the adjective game? Yes, apparently we are, Saragaki.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's say flat's got the same identity problem as Earth.
Mm-hmm.
You're using two words that have multiple identities, and that's shown by the fact that people have different meanings of that understanding. When you put those two words together, it means multiple different things to multiple different people, because flat has many different meanings, and as does Earth. It just depends how you see those, the understanding of those words and how you place them together. We've been saying for quite a bit that there is this magic element, and that's through the words. The power of these words really do. People attach meanings to words, and when you can combine them, they have take on a more significant meaning, and sometimes they can differ in the meaning by how you accept the words. It's almost as if that professor is the one that puts extra meanings to certain words. These academic reasonings can attach more significance to certain words, to certain people. And that's what you've got to be careful of, especially in this modern day. You need to have the ability to counter that magic and not let people fool you with words and statements. Is it the idea that somebody has authority over a certain thing? Well, it's only people that give the person that authority. If you can take that authority back off people, just you don't have to give people authority. Somebody that says he's not Babs. Why is Babs saying he's not Babs?
Identity crisis.
Yeah. Maybe that's not the character that's Babs. There's no such thing as non-Euclidean geometry. It doesn't exist in reality, Babs.
It's ridiculous on its face. The name of it is ridiculous. Yeah. Not that. You know that Euclidean geometry. Euclidean geometry. Yeah, you mean three-dimensional figures, four-dimensional figures. No, three-dimensional. Three-dimensional figures.
Squares,
circles. Yeah,
straight lines. That. It's always best to add in straight lines, because straight lines only exist in Euclidean geometry. They are uniquely Euclidean. The straight lines that make up squares and circles and triangles.
But the not that is the like 4-dimensional, 15-dimensional, but also 2-dimensional somehow. It's weird. The
Godzilla.
Not that.
Looks like Godzilla's been looking for antonyms. He comes, super chat, thank you very much, Godzilla. He says, smooth, rough, rippled, wavy, hilly, and flat. My 6 favorite shapes.
Love it. Yeah, absolutely. Awesome, Gord.
Nice. I'll give you another one. Uber flat. If you want
Uber
to be
flat.
like, you know,
Nice.
if you want to be snazzy.
Babs is talking about how we understand geometry of the 3D objects such as spheres. The Euclidean
That'd be
sphere.
book 11.
Yeah. So well done. Yeah, that's Euclidean. Best way to describe not that is to explain the that first, and then you can tell us where the not that is.
Yep. Yeah, again, Euclidean geometry, the one that talks about spheres in book 11. Yeah, not that.
Well, he's pointing at it, right? He's saying, see that? And he's saying, that's not that. Isn't he? If you want to know what not that looks like, it's that there. And you say, that's that, though. And he's saying, yeah, not that. The surface of it.
Zone.
Paradox, a paradox. The
They can't
spherical
see it.
geometry paradox.
Yeah, we know that the surface is the thing that you can see of the three-dimensional Euclidean shape. How can you be so blind to not see that the surface of the shape is actually the shape?
Do not adjust your sets. We have full control.
How do people get led into this? Right? There's not many trolls that are brave enough to come and talk, but somebody has allowed this fool in the chat to imagine that very thing is a not that. Well, Lamal says in the chat, I received props for my knowledge of the axioms by Nathan today.
Excellent.
Wow. I wonder if he knows all of them. And which axioms? Because I heard that QE has an axiom that level is horizontal. He thinks that's an axiom, doesn't he?
Hang on, please. He was talking about mathematical axioms, not Euclid's axioms.
The common notations. They are within Euclid as axioms.
By the way, geometry is part of mathematics. So it is mathematical. But still, if you are talking about a ball, so if someone has a ball in his home, this globus, so this is not that. So this monad is not that. Because at home, you can have a Euclidean ball. But in non-Euclidean geometry, it is not that. So,
but these people have brought that, not that, and put it on the outside of that. Like they've literally been allowed to mentally construct a not that around that, right? So that they can't even see that anymore. All they can see is the not that. It's very, it goes beyond
There is no
understanding.
Sphere. There is no sphere, just the surface of a sphere.
That's the idea, the mathematicalness of the mathematical realm. I think that's what they're doing. But even within the mathematical realm, it's still a Euclidean sphere. I don't know where they get the idea of the not that. I don't know. So was Nathan Oakley talking about us on the live show, or is he keeping it private again? On the midday
No, actually,
show.
he had nice things to say about you today, Bev, just so you know.
Okay.
Just come over and have a conversation, guys. I mean, the invitation is always open to Nathan and the crew over there.
Mm-hmm.
Come on over. Let's talk about why you have to hold on to flat.
Because it's
How
the
it's-
name of his show.
How it's not logical at all. Yeah, I understand the logistics of it all. I really do. I get it. But you know, fine if that's what you want to do. We've never said, just like we've said to the Globers, right? Go at peace with your globe. We don't care. No one's trying to take it from you. All we're doing is talking about reality, and everybody seems to be coming at us. It's fine. I mean, if you want to go with flat Earth, go with flat Earth. You know that, Rob. We tell you that all the time. It's like, it's all good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Yeah,
fine
and I
with
appreciate
reality.
you guys allowing me to be here. Thank you.
I'm fine with reality, and I'm fine with the discussion about reality. What I'm not happy about is people going off into separate places and talking shit about us and not giving us a right of reply or anything. That's really shit tactics. If you want to come and
Anything
have a
I say
conversation,
behind your back, I will say to your face.
exactly. That's the way it should be. I mean, I'd like to have a conversation with everyone about all of these sort of things, but I've seen how it goes. And people come in hot with misrepresentations. Like, it's pretty obvious. I mean, if Nathan was praising us today, why was he allowing Brian's logic and refracted curvature to completely make a bad argument, a representation of what our arguments are? We're in an arena where you should be precise with your words, especially within debate. And it doesn't really matter just for whatever you're talking about. But if you're talking about reality, and call it science if you want, then you should be as precise as possible with your words, picking every one of them purposely, making it as simple as possible for people to understand. So if anybody does want to come in and have a conversation, you know where the link is. We won't give you a mod ship and threaten your Discord account or anything. But we do have a thing now where we do need verification of people. When we like people to be able to come in and be involved, because it's quite good fun at the minute. We are going on to new things, and we are purposely making videos and stuff involving everyone within the thing. So if you would like to get involved somehow with I say a new way, it's not flat, and we'll just go with reality. You might have to take a bit of flack off a lot of people who are misrepresenting you, but hey, it's 2023. All sorts of things should be allowed nowadays, shouldn't they? Anything. What's he doing? Are you asking him? He's answering you, Emma. Perhaps he's talking to you, I think. Did you ask him how does he measure? Let's check.
I did absolutely not. No.
You did. You said it. I thought it was you I was asking. Oh, did somebody ask him? Bev will never admit that there is math to calculate thing on the surface of a curved surface. That would completely destroy his identity. Now that's what we call Euclidean geometry, Babs. Who was it that asked him? Somebody asked him. Oh no, it was Ian Adams then. How did you measure the circumference of the Earth, Babs? You should never lead them like that, Ian. But Babs says anything. Say the distance between point A and B on a curved surface. That math is real. It exists in reality. Point A and point B. That's one of the Buster songs that hasn't got enough credit. Nowhere near enough. Point A, point B. We're going to be doing that. That's going to be a common theme coming very soon. Every argument, I think, should have a point A and a point B in it.
Distance between 2 points is a straight line.
The shortest distance.
No. Distance. Distance is always the shortest distance. I'm not talking about path. I'm not talking about way or curvy or line. I'm talking about distance. So if you want to measure distance between 2 points, you are using straight line.
Well, you could use a wheel and go in a wibbly wobbly path, right?
Yes, but
like there's no way of knowing what shape the longest distance between 2 points would be. But the shortest distance has to be a straight line.
Yes, and this shortest distance we call distance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in reality, yeah, just in common parlance. But we live in a very strange arena where you have to double down and to make your statements as clear as possible without thing. Some people call it pedantic, but precise, I think. Because obviously you start off by saying from A to B, but then obviously the sophists like to play their game, and eventually arguments get made that are sort of, I don't know, they sound just weird to people from the outside because of the strange people within this arena that get accustomed to. So what happens then is, this is why I said, like, I've had enough now, because you can easily become affected by the conversations within this arena. And you can become so affected with the conversations within this arena that when you go out to talk to normal people, it's hard. It's hard to communicate because they're just not in with the same understanding of the ridiculous arguments that you've been accustomed to making. Mainly because I think there are lunatics, literally insane people, like Babs, completely talking about the surface, but not realizing he's talking about a circle, the circumference of a circle, which is a Euclidean. You don't even know which argument. The arguments are definitely understandable, and you can make sense of them. Normal people can, because they have been simplified that much that I would say even a child could understand them. That's the idea, is to reduce them down to make them as simple as possible, because people aren't ready for logic. it sounds like a mathematical thing, and people in modern day times, at least people that I know, particularly women, they're just not understanding of mathematics. They've been put off mathematics. That's where logic comes in. You can regain your understanding of mathematics through logic and simple logic. It does help you with physics as well, because it's used in reality. Simple arguments are all you really need, and there is an arena that has seemed to have dismissed simple argumentation, deductive logic, through science, through modern science. So, were we going to go over any more of those little clips? I don't think there's any need to, is there? Other than the fact that if there's anybody that's trying to misrepresent an argument, the argument's simple. It's a statement. Level is horizontal. Now, after all of the time that we've been here, all of the arguments that we've made, of which there are many, every one of them supports the statement level is horizontal. There's not one argument that has been given to us that does not support that. There are a lot of people that say straight lines have to be slightly different. Did he really put that? He didn't. See, that's half of the thing is when people say stupid shit like that, it doesn't need repeating, really. Because that's ridiculous. Why is there calculated curvature for Olympic swimming pools in reality? Because some idiots decided to calculate how much curvature they would need for their dogmatic globe model. The problem is,
hang on.
all volume formulas don't involve these things. So mathematics does disagree with these people. Go on, Rob.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So in the just in reference to what was just said here, I took this screenshot of something that just breezed through my feed yesterday. Have a look at this. Talking about swimming pools.
Nice. 1,000 meters. 3,323 feet.
Bet you if you stuck a water level at each end or surveyed with tools, I bet you it'd be horizontal the whole way across.
Well, I think that would be safe to say, but you saying that the elevation profile would be of horizontal with zero elevation changes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right, thank you. I got to go back to work.
Sarigaki he's talking about swimming in the outside lane. Actually, we were talking about this. Sports psychologists tell you that you're always on top, Saragaki, right? Mentally and suppose physically, you are always on the top. So you're always going to get a boost if you're swimming downhill everywhere you go. See, keep positive, right? And you can always beat the globe. You're never swimming uphill for the hump. You're always on the top.
So how do you pick a fast lane in the pool?
Everybody's got their own top of the ball, haven't they? Obviously. It's the dogmatic globe. Everybody has to have their own.
Exactly. Yes, it's simultaneously.
Yeah.
Everybody is on top of the ball simultaneously. Of course.
As
Makes
always, they have to be.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be.
Makes perfect sense to the insane people.
Is Babs saying he's not Babs? Why is he doing that?
Identity crisis
It's
again.
a bit weird, yeah. Can't fool us. Ugh.
Come on into chat. Say hi. Come on into VC, into Discord. Say hi.
Yeah, the construction of the swimming pool would have been made, obviously, with a zero slope. It'd be like a millimetre perfect, wouldn't it? Swimming pool. Fill it up. It'd be bad if you filled it up and it was like a foot different at one end.
Yeah, you know it's Babs for sure. He always repeats back what you tell him, pretends he's saying it now.
Yeah, it's a bad idea because the moment you start with a globe belief and a swimming pool like that, you have the automatically simultaneous below. You can't get away from the reductio ad absurdum. They have to take it.
Drops come into play, humps. Yeah.
Simultaneous below. The final kick in the teeth. It's the reductio ad absurdum, the axiomatic proof giver. When all else fails, reductio ad absurdum. There is no reductio ad absurdum in non-Euclidean geometry, you know.
Yep. They're trying to remove hump, drop. Charles tried it again today. He tried to remove the word hump and drop from the conversation. It was loaded, he said.
Yeah, Rumpus is going to be debating you, isn't he? About
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's what he's. It'd be good to get Rumpus out again. I mean, he tried a bit when they were trying to push him out at Blue Marbles, but it'd be good, Rumpus. Rumpus and SE trying to explain away the hump and the drop, trying to smooth it out.
Smooth out the hump.
Isn't that ironic?
Yeah. Come to some mid ground in between the hump and the drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sorigaki's laughing at the fact that there is no reductio ad absurdum in non-Euclidean. Because it is a reductio ad absurdum, isn't it? The whole thing is just that ridiculous that it would never be considered. So non-Euclidean geometry is a reductio ad absurdum. But what does non-Euclidean geometry have to counter that? there's no logic without Euclidean geometry and the understanding of the logic that derives Euclidean geometry. What do you have if you take it away?
That's because you don't understand non-Euclidean logic.
Have you guys read The Abolition of Man yet? Because it's perfectly described within that.
I have. We have to
Yeah.
do a show on it.
To start going over these sort of things, right? So it's C.S. Lewis, one of the most modern philosophers that there were. I mean, it depends how much weight you put in philosophy and the idea of philosophy, but really it's just people who think about things. Now, there's a logical chain of progression that people can see that occurs in reality as you're talking about these sort of things. So C.S. Lewis was of the time and the age where he was noticing that all of these logical tools that we have in our minds, they've been taken away piece by piece. And both him and Dorothy Sayers probably, like, I bet there was a movement that was going around trying to reintroduce this logical understanding, because they could see within the school system it was being broken down. So in The Abolition of Man, C.S. Lewis can see few years into the future, right? He can see these times coming, like 1984. He could see what was going to occur and how that was going to occur. And we should really go over The Abolition of Man. I really want to go over a lot more of these sort of philosophical things. Not because we think it's I don't know, makes us sound intelligent, but because they are worthwhile trying to, I don't know, tie your mind in knots to try and at least understand where these principles are coming. But basically, he explains it as you give up certain things for gaining power, right? And so you give up a piece of something to gain more power. And it's sort of like what these guys are doing, right? They're within their globe idea, they're trying to gain power over other people, but in order for them to do that, they have to give up a bit of reality every time. So now the power that they've gained is all power within globe, but they've given up all of reality. So there is nowhere for them to actually use the power that they've gained. They've given up reality in order to gain the power. And what is the power that they've got? The power of Tis Globe and some sort of academic genius that's detached them from reality. It's very strange. And I'd like to represent it. I'm pretty sure that C.S. Lewis does it much better than that. But a brief summary. And that's what we're dealing with. Modern times. People giving up parts of themselves for things that they don't understand. They don't realise what exactly the consequences are of them handing over these pieces of, I don't know, reality. As far as I can see, they've ended up giving up a straight line in order to gain non-Euclidean. And what is non-Euclidean geometry? It's nothing. It doesn't exist. It's nowhere. So they've given up all of their intelligence and their brain power to something that isn't real. And yeah, people can come in the chat and tell you that you're stupid because you don't understand. Give up reality and you gain power over impressionable people. Is that what you do, Bev? No, I don't definitely live in reality. There's no reason to give up reality. I keep saying there are proofs in reality, and every proof in reality will support your reality for you. It's what do you accept as a proof? Personally. Right, I am gonna put a song on because I need to go and make a brew, and I'm gonna put Emma and the Advanced Simplicity. So 3 minutes. You guys, you'll have to listen to the YouTube. Sorry. Be back in a moment.
So let me give you a hypothetical. I want you to imagine a 6-mile long stretch of water. This water is straight and level and does not flow.
Advanced simplicity takes hold. You'll find the truth from things of old.
So let me give you a hypothetical. I want you to imagine a 6-mile long straight stretch of water. At each end of this straight stretch of water is a bridge. Point A, so you've got 2 bridges. Point B. This water is straight and level and does not flow. At each end of this water is a bridge. Point A, point B. At each bridge there is a plumb bob hanging down to the water.
We are on the road,
even altitude,
suspending judgment until the truth is known. You will find peace within.
Let me give you a hypothetical.
In the midst of all these troubled souls.
Now, on these vertical strings, can you imagine an even altitude? A point at an equal height above the surface of the water below.
Advanced simplicity takes hold.
An even altitude.
You'll find the truth from things of old.
And on these vertical strings, can you imagine 2 points? So let me give you a hypothetical. Can you imagine point A an even altitude? At these points and point B, and on these vertical strings, we can establish a perpendicular and even altitude and call one point A and the other point B 2 points. Point A, point B, even altitude.
We are on the road,
2 points.
suspending judgment until the truth is known.
Point A,
You will find peace within.
point B.
In the midst of all these troubled souls.
The points at an equal height above the surface of the water below. Point A, point B. Point A, even altitude. Point B.
There's no end game in mind.
Is the shortest distance between those 2 points?
It's only the truth that we seek to find.
We know the shortest distance
There's no end game in mind.
between 2 points is a straight
It's
line.
only the truth that we seek to find.
Now, here's the question I'm asking myself. How can the distance between these 2 points be anything other than horizontal? Horizontal.
Everyone must see it for
Horizontal.
themselves. The truth
2
is there
points.
for you to find.
and then ask yourself, and the water. Fuck that up.
Okay, we're back. Just enough time. Did actually make the brew this time. That's going to be a classic, that, you know, when people catch on to exactly what that song's about. It's going to be good. I might have to do another remix of that, Emma. Do it again. Okay, so who've we got? Bab's still in there. Buster's definitely very talented. It's Babs in it. Babs' his alter ego.
I've invited him in, but doesn't seem to want to come in.
No, he won't. We have the rule, don't we, in the Discord? So it's okay. Anybody else wants to come in, have a conversation? We are here to talk about reality, and obviously there are some simple truths, foundations, axioms, call it, even though Nathan Oakley was shouting us out for the how do you reckon he went with axiom 10? No two straight lines can enclose a space. How do you reckon he went with that?
That's one of my favorites, that one.
Yeah.
Try beating that one. Like, give it a go.
Sounds complicated, doesn't it? But really broke down is you can do fuck all with an angle.
Yeah, it's another good one.
Same thing.
This is going to trigger a lot of people, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think Saragaki, I think to get into print, I don't know, but I would like to do that for Buster anyway. If Buster were to put a Buster music CD out, artwork and everything, who'd buy it? I would.
Yeah.
I think it'll be well worthwhile, as well as, you know, actually doing that. I probably haven't even got a CD player.
I'd buy the first CD out.
My PC hasn't got a CD thingy drive in it, but I do have a thingy drive. So, but yeah, I'd definitely buy one. So
I would find a CD player to put it in.
Yeah, buy a CD player.
Imagine from record to 8-track to 4-track to CD to now nobody even has a CD anymore, right?
Yeah, just
CD
digital.
player, yeah.
Yeah, even the music that they're putting out, there is no CDs. It's amazing, isn't it? Like with 2023, if that's true. And yeah, there is no physical music needed. It's all digital.
But think of the implications beyond music, right?
Yeah.
After this date, right? There'll be no hard copies of anything, right? Of history, they'll be able to change everything at whim. And who's gonna have a hard copy of anything anymore? Think how easy it is for them. Yeah.
On a mass scale.
Yep.
Everyone knows tis globe.
Whereas when books were around, right, it would take generations of books, you know, being, after a person dies, pass it out down, it gets put in the shell or in the attic and then gets lost, right? It takes generations to get rid of a book. something written in a book. But now, just one touch of a keyboard.
Yeah, and think of all of the what it would have took in the past for you to get published into a book. Think about modern day. How many of those authors or whatever are just going on in in places like Discord, when you get people that are literally writing essays as a reply to you on one of the comments or something. That's literally people writing stuff down that's going to be just gone, disappeared.
Yep.
And the amount of things and that people have said, like today, in the past, it would have had to have gone through a rigorous process of people writing it and checking it, the spell checks and making sure it made sense. But nowadays, none of those checks need to occur. Anybody can do anything. I've wrote my own non-Euclidean geometry. It's there for anybody to do it. Good day, Mike. 'Tis Globe. Welcome. All the mics getting together, getting familiar in the chat. Right, so I don't know what to do. I don't know what to go over or anything really. I mean, it's pretty obvious that the people that were really bothered about us and have been bothered about us for years, they literally have no argument. I got told today, let me get this, because this is one of the funniest things to come out of this. I know we do have people like Babs in the chat. Well, we've got so we've been Blue Marble Science, not just the general scientific people but the actual guy that runs the YouTube channel, Blue Marble Science. We were talking today, and I was talking about you can do fuck all with an angle. And as you can see in this thing here, let me get rid of that. Maybe you can see that. It seems to me that with just an angle and nothing else, I can determine if an object is above or below my line of sight, says Blue Marble. Just an angle and nothing else. Now, this is a similar sort of thing that Nathan Oakley's got himself into. So I say, wouldn't that require an orientation of a line, or can you derive that just from the angle? And then ask him about the deleted post, because he did. He deletes his own posts. But then Blue Marble Science says these words. He says, just a zenith angle, Bev. That's all I need. Just a zenith angle. Just a zenith angle is all Blue Marble needs in order to tell whether something is above or below him. And I'm going to stick him to that. That's one of the ones I'm going to remember. There's a lot of Mike Jones love in the chat. Oh. So, Blue Marble.
Because we love Mike Jones.
Shout out Mike Jones, indeed. He causes a lot of ballers grief.
It's the logic, isn't it?
Yep.
So Blue Marble has actually decided to come out and help Nathan Oakley and the Flat Earth debate crew. The super special angle of Blue Marble science. Anytime
This is not angled to the curve, I hope.
Well, no, it's all he needs to tell whether something is above or below his line of sight is a zenith angle. He thinks a zenith angle is just an angle, but it's got a zenith involved with it too, hasn't it? It's got an orientation. But we'll let him off and we'll see what he can do with it. Because I would say that if he's going to try and determine whether something is above or below, he's going to have to use another angle, isn't he? He's going to have to use a horizontal, I'd say. And if he's using a horizontal for above and below understanding, I'd say he's fucked. But hey, I don't want to be upsetting anyone. People with ideas that Blue Marble can perform magic. I've told him that even God can't perform the feats that he wants to perform. Because he wants to tell that something's below, but say that it's not actually below. It's fantastic. It's going to be great.
Who was saying it's both? Was it flat Earth math? That you can have both a hump and a drop at the same time?
All of them. They have to have both.
Yep, double drop hump.
Got to.
Yep.
Yeah, but he actually said those words. Yeah.
Yeah, they always have to take the dilithius position. Both. They've literally destroyed every one of the basic laws of communication, we call them. Law of identity, the excluded middle, and non-contradiction.
And a few of physics as well.
Yeah. Well, obviously, if you start breaking the fundamental laws of logic, then, I mean, we may just call them laws of communication, but they are the governing laws of logic that govern the axioms for geometry and mathematics. You can't separate them. So why it's so funny that they've taken on this idea of not Euclidean geometry, the not. I'd say that's one of the major breakthroughs that we have and we've gained here, is that you can, if you can understand the idea of the not that, then you at least will have 1 foot in modern life, modern science, modern mathematics. If you can understand the reason, the sufficient reason for them wanting to have a not that, then I think you'll have a good understanding of modern mathematics. It's a good one, that. What are the pronouns from logic? Ooh,
Not that is one of them, one of the top ones.
that and not that. I identify as that.
But
That
not
which I
that.
am.
Yeah, that is the top
Yeah, there
one.
you go. There's the identity. My pronouns are that which I am,
There you go. Yep.
and not that which I am not. As governed by reality. That which could be proved.
If it can be proved, look the other way. That should be somewhere in there.
I don't appreciate you. That's the meme of the meme of the age, I think.
Yeah, that is good. Yeah.
That's going to be like Pepe.
It's like that World War II meme. I forgot the name of it. It's seen everywhere. They were drawing it everywhere. Try to find a thing of it.
So weird, modern day times. Everybody has to grow up in the time that they grow up in. We've ended up in a place where, like me, I'm sat in a little room in the back of my house with a microphone talking to people. TV screens. I've got a great group of friends that I would literally never have if we didn't have all of this. So we are of
And
the
I'd be
time,
sitting
aren't we?
here working all by myself with no one to talk to. Watching stupid YouTube videos. At least here I get some conversations with some intellectuals. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I never understood English and the idea of the pronoun. I understand nouns, adjectives, just the basic shit. And I have noticed a distinct lack of the guys. They were trying to talk. They were trying to talk about how to measure how far it is to the moon the other day. Now, I don't know about you guys, but how often have you ever thought about measuring to the moon?
That is absolutely nonsense.
For what purpose? For number one, right? There's sufficient reason. For what reason would you ever want to measure to the moon?
Well, maybe one day you were curious and you woke up and you said, gee, I wonder how far that is. Well, then maybe you should have, if you were logical, you'd say, you know what? But I'll never find out.
Yeah. Well, you go through yourself, right? What sort of a method could I possibly come up with to be able to measure that, calculate it even, or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, what method is there? And turns out that there isn't one, except Blue Marble. Blue Marble Science has done it, you know. Let me see if I can get that. Is it that one? There you go. Yeah, look at that. I'm getting good at doing this. So Betty asks. This is the team, the proofless logician. Betty, dogmatician, says he quotes me saying, "How do you measure how far away the moon is?" The simple answer is you can't. Nobody claims to be able to do it. It's one of the questions that nobody ever attempts to answer. That's me. I state that. And Betty says, this is false. Aristarchus was the first to attempt to determine the distance to the moon using trigonometry. Trigonometry uses triangles. So I'm not too sure how he imagines Aristarchus would have used triangles to measure the distance to the moon. I'm not too sure. I don't think it's possible. But then, after a few backwards and forwards, blue marble science comes on. So not just Aristarchus now, right? So Betty quotes Aristarchus, and blue marble science, the guy, right? It's not as if I'm obsessing over him. This is him quoting this on my YouTube channel. So all I'm doing is getting a copy of what he says. So he says, this is, remember, the distance to the moon, blue marble. I've measured it myself by doing an EME bounce. And it isn't that hard to do.
An EME bounce, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amateur radio operators have been doing it for as long as I can remember, with pretty good levels of accuracy. But Aristarchus beat me by a few years, lol. Like, Blue's been around for a long time. And he has...
Did he have a ham
measured...
radio?
Blue?
You think Aristarchus had a ham radio?
Well, he apparently did it with trigonometry, but blue marble science did it with bouncing EMEs.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And amateur radio operators. We were having a go at that a bit earlier. Have you ever operated a radio?
Absolutely, many times.
Okay. Did you ever get paid for it?
Negative, I
Just
would.
did it for fun. Definitely amateur.
Yep.
As you were operating the radio, did you ever think to check the distance to the moon?
Never once. I could swear and put my hand up.
I missed out on
swear.
that as well. Nobody ever taught me about doing that. Otherwise, I would have checked it. But like I say, I can't think of the method. But Blue Marble Science says they've been doing it for as long as he can remember. It's like, what are you doing, Dad? I'm just checking the distance to the moon. Okay, Dad.
Bouncing.
Making sure it's where it was yesterday.
Bouncing a single off of it, Dad. Why? Why you ask?
Making sure your brother didn't misplace it. You know how he likes to lose things.
So, yeah, that's what the Blue Marble Science team have been doing. Along with trying to unstraighten straight, circularize straight as well. Obviously, we've got it all down in the Buster song, right? In the You Don't Understand. So it's there documented of all of the things that they say that they haven't said. Yet it's strange how we have recordings of them actually saying it. Which they say we're probably misrepresenting them saying it, but they are actually quoted saying these very things that they say they haven't said. Gets a bit awkward. So I'm predicting that the Blue Marble scientists, after saying such stupid shit like they do, measuring the distance to the moon by bouncing EMEs, and trigonometry as well. That's fantastic.
Yeah, this, and think about it. This is a self-professed logician and engineer.
Hmm. Yeah, a logician and an engineer.
Yeah.
Both talking about impossible tasks. The only shadow giants have told them that this can be done, and they're just repeating the words of shadow giants as if they are those shadow giants. They're not. The shadow giants forgot to tell them. It's just a fantasy. They forgot to tell them about reality and the facts of reality and what is and isn't possible in reality. Modern science has led these people astray, and it's put fools in charge. Now, I know Blue Marble Science claims to be quite clever. Truth is, he isn't. And the people that he has around him are leading Blue Marble Science. Well, let's say they're leading him with a false argument, and he's the only guy that there is going to be standing at the end. Everyone else is just going to start walking away. These arguments are going to get more and more precise as we go along. But first off, I think what we have to do is we have to let everybody know that the argument isn't an argument for shape-based thing. It's just an argument from reality and a statement that level is horizontal. Now, that statement was made because in order for us to progress anywhere, we have to have a mutual base of our understanding. And that horizontal line is the base that all constructions are built upon, and the understanding of the straight line mathematically as the unit. There is a direct relationship between that and reality. Now, certain people have given up that. The dogmatic model states you can't have that. So that's the bit that's been fascinating me over all of these years, is the statement that level is horizontal needs to be clarified before we can continue on with any sort of discussion about anything to do with shape. And in reality is where we are going to prove that level being horizontal. It's just very simple. I don't really understand why there is a disagreement around it. Well, I do, because there's obviously an argument about the straight line that continues on, much like Euclidean geometry, to come to many proofs. And there are a group of people nowadays within this modern science that don't have that reality. There is no proof in modern science, yet there is proof within reality. That's got to be a contradiction. How could you possibly have proof within reality, but no proof within a dogmatic globe model? And who's going to give up proof? Where does giving up proof get you in modern day times? I think we are going to have to go over the abolition of man. But make it simple. We have to bring these stuff into... advanced simplicity places. I don't know.
They can't let go of the model no matter what. It's just with them.
I don't see. They're talking about Betty. Are they atheists though? I don't think they are.
Definitely not.
They're religious people. Betty is religious.
Absolutely.
Flat Earth mathematics. He's religious.
Even if they didn't have a religion in the normal sense, they have a religion.
Well,
Make
that's
no
what I was
mistake.
talking about anyway.
Yeah, they're not atheists for sure. Even if they say they're atheists, they're not atheist.
I think that's how they can Oh, Mike Jones, look at that. Okay, looks like we're on next week. Abolition of Man book club.
Beautiful.
Yeah, let's do it all week, eh? Let's do
Hell
that
yes.
sort of a thing. Yeah, let's do that.
So you're gonna make me start reading the book?
Well, we'll
Yes.
be reading the book, so we'll just go over it. We'll read it and we'll comment on it.
Okay, that's better. I might read a little bit just to know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I
think
don't have a problem with reading. Don't get it twisted.
It's really good for what the sort of stuff that we do, because it's all based around this use of words and how education teachers implement the teachings of this philosophy and thought
Yep.
upon children.
Yeah, you remember when we went through the philosophy course that the instructor was saying that, when we got through all the different philosophers, when they started twisting the philosophy and everything else, that C.S. Lewis was trying to bring it back. But you're talking about hundreds and hundreds of years of trying to bring it back.
Yeah, I
But
mean, how many other philosophers could there have been, that were like C.S. Lewis that just didn't get pushed because it wasn't needed?
Definitely not. And then there was again, I'd like to go through some of the more modern philosophers like Foucault and Derrida, because those guys pushed it even further when there was this is kind of, anybody ever heard of the Overton window?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah. You go beyond.
Yeah.
You
So
push it past.
Right. So the Overton window is a concept where you think about it as a kind of a picture frame. And if you have a picture frame in a certain spot, and you move that picture frame to the right or to the left a certain amount, and then let's say it gets pushed back a little bit. Well, the kind of the pendulum swing is it'll get pushed back in the opposite direction even further. So you constantly have this moving of this window of what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. There's societal Overton windows, there's political Overton windows. If you haven't looked, take a chance and look it up on Google. It's a fascinating concept. But that's kind of what happened with philosophy, right? You had this Overton window effect of Bacon and on from Bacon, and I think to a certain extent, with all due respect to Aquinas, I think Aquinas opened up some doors unintentionally, perhaps that were taken advantage of. But nonetheless, you still had this movement of the Overton window, and it kept moving, and there would be a little bit of a pushback, and then it would move further, and then a little bit of pushback, and it would move further, and a little bit of pushback, but always moving in a certain direction, right? And that's what you had. C.S. Lewis was that little bit of pushback, and then you had Foucault and Derrida and then the woke there was a little bit of pushback. I think in maybe in the a little bit in the 80s because of what happened in the 60s, especially in America. And then you had now you've got the woke, right? It's the even bigger pushback. You've got the woke situation and everything else that's going on in Western
Well, you can't really forget
societies.
that right after C.S. Lewis was the diletheism Pierce push within logic. They literally broke logic right after that. 70s, 80s. It's so modern, this diletheism. The stuff that causes, I call it Brenderisms in modern day life, is the literal breaking of the logic. And like now, there's so many competing philosophies that it's unmanageable, I'd say, for within the education system of the children. That's why I am interested into because I was brought up in the 80s, 70s, 80s, and that's when these guys were in the universities. So give them a few 20, 30 years time to grow up, implement that into the education system, and put those sort of teachers, the ones that have learned that, back into the education system. It's no wonder we're in the mess that we're in. We go through that. I really don't think there's any use, really, is there, for going back beyond Bacon, just to watch what occurred from Bacon to modern day. I'm hoping.
Yeah, that's well, we went through it, right? That's really where things started to, really, really push back. And I think there was, well, clearly, right, there was very large gaps of time between Aristotle and then Aquinas, and then a smaller period of time between Aquinas and Bacon, right? You had what, 1500 years between Aristotle and Aquinas, and then only right, and then only a 400-year gap to Bacon, and then it just rolled from there. I mean, after Bacon, we saw it through in the philosophy course, right? It was one philosopher after another, after another, after another, after another, within sometimes contemporaries in the same time frame, just pushing whatever agenda they were pushing, right?
Yeah. Well, like
I don't know.
I'd say, because of all of these changes, right? Such and such said this, and Kant said this, and Aquinas said this, right? There's literally no way of you knowing what is the general thing other than logos being logos, right? There is a reasoning process that derives that reason, and that can be communicated through everyone, right? And you can definitely hear when you can hear false reasoning, faulty logic, fallacies. But I'm trying to say that there is definitely something that you can say this is the truth. Whereas the only way you can go and look at all of these other philosophers is to try and compare them to some sort of standard. Like, within geometry, you have to have the straight line in order to be able to compare. You have to have that line, and you'd be able to say it's either equal to or longer or shorter, right? There's a way of you being able to compare if you have a standard. Well, you have to be able to govern that standard through logic, don't you? Where is your base to start off with? Where's your where's your baseline to start off with within logic? Is it allowable for somebody to say no, just not that? Start off with a not that. that's modern day life. I think for me, that's what I'm trying to trying to understand, how there are so many people with so many different ideas and so many different philosophies, and what causes those different philosophies.
Oh, I think it goes right back to what Raven brought to us right early on, is that whole idea of predication. The fact that there's what you described to me is because people are saying that that they do know, that they have knowledge of something that they cannot know. And I think that's what it all stems from, is predicating upon which something you can't predicate upon. And so you just start making it up. It just starts flowing out like magic, like wizardry. It just flows. Just keep going. Just keep state is more the more fantastic and the more nonsensical and the more ridiculous, the better. Just keep let it flow. There's no rules anymore, guys. Just let it out. Let your hair down.
This is called licentia poetica. So,
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, sounds nice.
Yeah, it does.
so just fantasy of an author.
Yeah, but what fascinates me is that what must have happened or occurred within the mind of somebody for them to be able to imagine that their fantasy, it can override other people's reality. Do you know what I mean? Like they obviously imagine that it is reality, but it's not reality to other people. It's fantasy. And they likely think the same thing about us, right?
Yes.
I can understand that they think and look at us and think, how could they possibly think that level is horizontal? That's what fascinates me about all of this. I don't want to tell them that they're wrong. I would like to have a discussion with them to find out how they believe it's wrong. What proofs do they think that they've got? But
So I made the mistake of bringing up Aquinas, and there's something in there's a whole slew of things now in the live chat that I'm not sure I even understand. So and Saragaki says he doesn't have a mic, and Mike Jones is not on. So
yeah,
I don't know what that's about, guys. But my apologies for bringing up Aquinas. Holy cow! I went there as my high school was named Aquinas, by the way. Just saying. So my apologies. My goodness.
Aquinas was purely Aristotelian, so you may say that, and he called Aristotle the philosopher. So he assumed that there is no one else beside Aristotle in real philosophy. So if we are talking about modern philosophy, I would say that this is not that philosophy and really not philosophy.
Yeah, that's what I'd say. Like, that's why bringing names into the old school stuff it's just logic, right? Logos was derived that, and that's just pure logic. It's the same as Euclidean geometry. It's the same as all of the old sciences, right? All of the what was known, that all belongs to that group of things. Just what is, that's that.
Up until Bacon.
Yeah, up until Bacon, and Bacon then decides not that. So trying to link it to people and things like modern day times, I think Aristotle needs to be known of, and you know, in order for you to find that. But once you find logic, it doesn't belong to Aristotle or anybody. It then becomes, it belongs to you.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Exactly.
So this is only Aristotle's guide to learn how to learn logic. But this is not his logic. He didn't invent logic. He only systematized, let's say, logic into systematic science.
I
That's
think he
his,
just wrote it down,
input.
right? I think it was already known. Everything was
Right.
already known.
I think so too.
Yeah. These are just people that are documenting it all.
Same with Euclid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that intrigues me and why I bring up the names, and the names hold some, maybe they hold some sway for me just from a historical perspective, right? But I don't know. I don't even know if those people existed technically, even though I went to a high school named after the guy I just said might not have existed, because I can't know, right?
Yeah.
But nonetheless, to me, the historically, right, what happened between Aquinas and Bacon? Because again, that's a relatively short, like one third the time, less than one third, almost a quarter of the time span between Aristotle and Aquinas. So to me, that's an interesting thing. Like you had Aristotle, and then a long period of time, and then you had Aquinas, who was, obviously very well known and quoted philosopher
I'm
for
sorry, Kevin.
only
I'm sorry.
400 years.
I'm sorry, Kevin. It would really help someone like me if you could give us those dates.
So
Yeah,
Aristotle,
just
my
because
understanding,
I'm not entirely familiar with their timelines, and
yeah,
by knowing those actual dates, I could maybe think about what could have been transpiring societally.
I'll give you it, Rob. So again, my understanding, without having to look it up, and then who knows if it's right anyway, is
Thank
Aristotle,
you.
I think 200 to 300 BC. Uh, I think that's right. And then Aquinas was in the 1200s, and then
Yeah.
Bacon,
16.
early 1600s.
Yeah, I think in the 12 to the 16, supposedly that was when the Islamic scientific revolution was going on. So that's Al-Biruni type thing, I think.
Yes, but it is worth to mention that Aristotle was brought back to Europe via Islam
Yeah.
by Saint Thomas Aquinas. So Aristotle and his philosophy as science was brought by Saint Thomas Aquinas. So he was not known nearly at all. His writings were not known till Saint Thomas Aquinas.
Aristotle's writings, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they just abandoned, let's say, history abandoned, Western history abandoned Aristotle, and Aquinas brought him back via Islam, because Aristotle preserved in Islam his writings. So that's the way how Aristotle came back to Europe.
And that also, that time frame, 1200s to 1600s, was, quote, the Dark Ages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. That's the modern term for that 400-year period. Is the
Of
Dark
which
Ages.
there doesn't seem to be much documentation within European times. Though I think there was a lot of the Islamic stuff.
In field of philosophy, yes, rather Islamic, but in Europe, no, there were not especially in Europe, but no great philosophers in medieval time, let's say. But they were not dark ages, because law was very good. It was very well preserved, Roman law, and
They've
Roman
become
law.
very good use with the words, right? So just the very words, the Dark Ages, when you become knowledgeable about it, you begin to realize that probably not as dark as they try and make out.
I would say that no, not at all. But you know, when someone is trying to obfuscate or make, let's say, education as obfuscation, he has to refer to the past. And of course, he has to say that now we have enlightenment. And in contrast to that, we have to have some dark ages. So the best way would be, of course, this medieval times. So this is just propaganda. Dark ages, or calling this age dark, is just pure propaganda.
The it'll get touched upon in the Abolition of Man, but C.S. Lewis likens it to an age of magic, where magic and logic, I think he calls it science, both appear at the same time, and what Bacon does is finds a way to bring the two together within the greater science at that
Possibly,
time.
yes. But still, in this dark ages, of course, not so many people were educated. But if they were educating trivium et quadrivium. This is what they were taught. So I would say that they were well educated.
Yeah, well, take this on, right? That before that time, there was a knowledge that there was what was known and there was what was not known. Now, science dealt with what was known, and magic was with in the realm as what was not known, how to trick and deceive people about what was known into thinking what was known into something that was not known, right? It's a magic trick to take something and put it in the other realm. Well,
yes, I would say even that this is a stolen concept because, for example, this star magicians or astrologists, so they, of course, earned money from kings and other dukes, princes, etc., because they, from motion of the star, they supposedly could predict future. So, so this is stolen concept because there is no link between your future and motion of the star. But if you can convince someone that it is a case, you can earn money from rich people. Why not?
well, that's the
And
magic.
this is magic.
Yeah, there's the difference between magic and logic, because I think they're the two competing things here. Logic is what is known and how to know what is known, and magic is how to deceive people about what is known.
Yes, I would say that modern science is pure magic because this principle of I cannot name it. This guy, I think Heisenberg, that you this is only
Uncertainty
probable.
principle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what the rule of modern science is that you don't know, that you cannot know for certain anything. So and these proofs are now by probability. So this whole experiments are based on calculations of probability. So even if you have high probability, this is not a science in Aristotelian sense, because you still don't know if the thing will happen or not.
That's
So
exactly what Bacon did.
Yeah.
Bacon came along and he said, let's find a way to bring that magic and place it into the science.
Yeah, yes, that's what he did. He started that.
And a slow, steady creep into the downward spiral of where we are today, modern life, modern thinking. Like there is no that like Askin's got there, logic does not equal magic. Yeah, it doesn't. But the idea of science, modern science, has changed because the old science was logic. It was what was known.
Yep.
Whereas it didn't incorporate any magic. Magic didn't belong in science. The trick was that Bacon, he took away the deductive power of logic and added magic into science. It's a very clever trick.
Well, it was to control, right? That was Bacon's. Bacon was a politician.
Yeah.
And he said himself that it was to control. What was it? To control
the nature.
The nature. Yes.
Yeah, control nature. You literally, and when we say adding magic in, I'm not waving magic wands. It's literally just the use of words to be able to trick and deceive people. That's what I mean by logic, magic.
I would say that wizardry and trickery is that by proof or probable proof, modern science is trying to convince people that you can know something, scientifically know, using proof of probability. And this is, for me, the greatest now ongoing trickery. Because, of course, in logic way, it is not certain. Knowledge is not certain, but they convince us that that it is science. So we have knowledge and we can make decisions based on that uncertain knowledge. So that's, even for me, it is dangerous. And we could experience that back in the day.
Definitely happening and occurring today. I mean, just the other day I got gaslit about straight lines not being straight. Somebody was literally trying to tell me that. Well, not just me, trying to tell everyone.
Everyone.
Yeah. And that's pure. I mean, luckily enough, we were strong enough to be able to say that's a load of fucking bullshit. But hey, what about if somebody doesn't deem themselves very clever at mathematics? Like, would you be susceptible to somebody telling you that mathematics says that straight lines aren't straight? Because somebody would be willing to tell you that. People would definitely be wanting to tell people that falsivities are true. Things which can be proved false are actually true. That's modern day. I call it blue marble science. The blue marble scientific method is finding a contradiction that somebody gives you and them realizing that the contradiction only occurs on the globe model, the dogmatic globe model. So therefore they have to incorporate it into their thinking.
Yes, and then they can present this contradiction as not being contradiction.
Yeah, the acceptance of a contradiction is how we prove a dogmatic model. By knowing that one of those contradictions is spherical geometry, and the way that people rely on it and have to accept it. In fact, they want it to be real. They're literally telling you, have this contradiction. I have. It's required for my dogmatic model. Like we've got in the chat.
Yes. It's like invitation to some wizardry society or
Yeah.
whatever.
Accept this massive contradiction, and you can come and join in my a cult. It's got to be a cult, hasn't it? It's got to be. I can't think of any other name for it.
Yes. No proofs. There can be no proofs, but you cannot question the dogma or the dogmatist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Accept
that is a
this
cult.
contradiction, and
Yep.
That way you can be as ignorant as you want about actual mathematics, geometry, and reality. All you need is this ability to accept contradictions, because even then you can create your own contradictions and find a way to accept them.
Yes. Now, others will try to say or try to claim that we are the cult for bringing this up and having this, but we're the ones that say that there's actual proofs in reality.
And that
A
the Earth
cultist,
is not flat.
Earth is not flat. The cultists, though, not so. You'll see the cultists on the one side say that, of course, there can, Earth is flat, of course. And the other ones will defend those ones saying the Earth is flat because they have to have the Earth being flat so that they can strawman the Earth being flat. It's one cult against another in this arena.
But Nathan Oakley was praising me today because I know the axioms of mathematics. It's weird. It's weird. I don't require Nathan Oakley's support in my knowledge of the axioms. They're the axioms. Everyone should know them.
Yeah, that's good for everyone to know axioms of logic, because in fact we call them mathematical, but in fact they are just logical axioms, principles of logic. Okay, I am off to bed. Good night, all. Thank you very much.
Night, paper. So, what we have done within all of this is
hang on, please. Can you hear me?
Canal, Rob. Yeah, go on. Come on in.
Wow.
Can you
coming in hot?
Just make a brew.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want you guys to remind Paper. I need at least 10 seconds to get to the mute button. So can you not leave? Like as soon as he says I'm off to bed?
I don't even know if he'll hear you now because he's off to bed, but
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Tomorrow, can we try and remember to remind Paper not to leave so fast?
So you can say goodbye.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. All right, Rob. Got it.
Wow.
All right. I thought it was something we said.
Yeah.
For a second. I'm glad it wasn't. I don't want to have the ire of Rob Keane against me. It'd be bad.
Oh, what's is that Saragaki?
You know, to be honest, I don't get ironed very much. But you know what really grinds my gears
Chaps your ass. You go.
is
Go
my
on.
it's my
Paper leaving
children
too quick.
lately. Yeah. Besides paper leaving too quick, no, it's my kids. When I say clean the sink, I don't mean just take all the dishes out of it and leave all the food bits inside.
Mm. You're finding out that you have to be very, very, very
Oh, yeah.
pedantic with the children.
Being a parent is harder than being a flat earther. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I would not disagree with you there, Rob.
Yeah.
A parent is a tough
Okay,
job.
anyways, I'll move back on here. I got so much work to do. I just had to get that out.
Mike Dornan says, "Are you speaking through an exhaust?"
Yeah, I'm sure he is. Rob usually is. Or,
No,
or
I
some
was a
brakes.
little bit out of Wi-Fi range there for a second. Okay, I got you back to work.
He's either speaking through an exhaust or a set of brake pads or something.
Okay, so it's been a pretty good day today, I think.
Yeah, I'd say so. So abolition of man next week, is that the plan?
Next week, yeah, we're going to have an abolition of man week.
Awesome. Looking forward to that.
Going over it, you'll have to deal with us reading it though. So,
hey, that's what. Can we get Emma to read some?
yeah, hopefully we can get Emma a copy of it. Have you got a copy of Abolition of Man, Emma? It's only like
I don't, but it's probably quite.
£3 or £5 one. It's you know, it's
Yeah, it'll
it's
be
not
quite
the
easy
most-
to get
yeah.
hold of it.
I think there's some versions online actually as well that are free. Forced to be online.
Yeah, we should be able to find a
Hmm?
copy somewhere for us to go over. That'll be good. That might be good for us to do just a basic reading of it, but
Yeah, you know us, we can't do that. We
I know
read
we
and
have
then
to
talk
keep-
about it for an hour. That's all right. It's how learning happens.
Yeah, that's
Discuss
the
it with each
idea
other.
of what we do. Yeah, it is a book club, and I think these are the sort of things, because C.S. Lewis is the closest you've got, really, to modern day philosophies. I don't know if there is like a modern day.
Like now?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a really good question. I think there are certain parts of like, a little bit of Jordan Peterson at times, some of Douglas Murray, if you've ever listened to Douglas Murray.
Yeah, Mike Jones type stuff.
Sometimes, yeah, E. Michael Jones certainly has a lot of good stuff. So, but I don't know anybody that's put it all together as well as C.S. Lewis did, certainly in Abolition of Man.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe other people can make some suggestions. It's hard when you're in a contemporary because it's much easier, obviously, to look back at history and go, "Oh, wow, that dude was he knew what was going to go on before it was going on."
Yeah, not Nostradamus like.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing if you know, if you can see how things are going, you can predict. I think, like C.S. Lewis you can see what's occurring and what will occur.
Yes.
If things go a certain way, and obviously things are going that way.
Definitely. Well, and I will say it's really not that difficult, because if you understand how human beings are, you understand how human beings work, and you understand just a little bit about psychology and the actions and reactions of human beings, does become quite easy to make some predictions that come true. On the political front, I've been doing that with my parents for the past, I don't know, like 5 years, 4, 5, 6 years. I've told them politically, because they're political junkies, So I've told them politically probably since 2014, 2015, for several years now. I've been telling them what's going to happen. This is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and watch. Then this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and they're constantly like, "How did you know that? How did you know that?" It's like it you just see it after a while. You once you have the veil lifted on the wizardry, the magic, right? And as you point out, the magic is in the words. So you pay attention to what people say in any given arena, whether it's politics or whether it's this arena, or and you can fairly easily figure out where things are going.
Yeah. Saragaki puts a good point. He says it's going to have to get so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is.
Mm,
And I think we're there, right? I think
I do too.
But I'm not so sure that people are aware of how weird it already is.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously you whatever you do in your own home,
Right.
you know, that's sort of keep it, and that's why we're in little arenas like this,
Yeah.
because that's the easiest way to keep it hidden, I think. Imagine how many little tiny servers there are like this nowadays, because this is what these modern times, these last 4 years have done. It's made people into little tiny groups, and there's millions of them. Like Buster was saying, there's 6.4 million Discord servers. We're just one of them. It's a tiny little server. So there's a lot of money going into these sort of things. Imagine where it's going to go to. Because they've got to monetize it, haven't they? They're going to have to make money. They're going to have to turn it back on itself to make money out of this fantasy. I mean, they already have. They've done it in one way, but it's going to have to double back on itself. I don't think the way's been invented yet. That's what we're after, the new modern science. Because you know that science only works up until the fact that they decided it didn't work. And then they'll go with whatever is the consensus until they find out that that isn't right either. Black holes and fantasies, things that don't exist out there, and then you got people religifying a monad. That's internalizing, because you've got Euclidean understanding of space is infinite, but that's infinite out there, away from where you are. Well, the new modern science has internalized that and put the infinite at the edge. They've put you at the edge of the infinite, looking in. And now the infinite, for those people, they've put it at the center. They've got an all-encompassing point at the center of everything. But they have both. It's a diletheism. And of course, they're struggling. Because the idea of all of this is they've lost their foundation of what is. And I think that's what most people put the what is to a god. Right? They put that in the hands of a god. Whereas when when people have the monad, they shy away from that understanding of religion, but don't realize that you can't it's like getting rid of logic, isn't it? If you give it all up, I think the abolition of man's going to be great for a conversation when we start talking about it. I've not been able to stop thinking about, the idea of giving up something to end up in the position that the ballers are in, because that's what he's talking about. The ability to give up everything. And where are you once you've done it? What was the power that you could gained?
You find out there wasn't any. It was just a charade.
Yeah.
And you gave away everything for nothing. You've lost your agency. You've lost your ability to reach ataraxia. That's what I'm going to keep using these words because they're important.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna point at that conversation where flat Earth math and blue marble science and rumpus, they were all agreeing that there's a problem with straight and level being horizontal. They've give up all of their agency around that to get a perceived intellectual gain over us. And now, where are they? What do they do with all of their power that they've got? Because they've given up a straight line being straight. What do they have?
I'm sure they'd say it's worth it.
Yeah, yeah.
But hey, well, to each their own, right?
Yeah, if they think they've got rid of us, and that we're walking away, then I suppose you could get a win out of it if you want to perceive that sort of a win. But
that's fine. Yeah,
sure. I'm allowed. Anyone's allowed to think whatever they want to think, and I'm happy that I've got out of this arena what I think I need to get out of it. Now, have we finished with it? No. But I've got enough out of it is what I need. So if I do return, it will be with a different purpose.
Yeah.
And yeah, there is a definite learning process to go along with this. And I've definitely, me as a person, I've definitely gained from the friendships that I've got, and I've gained from the knowledge that I've gained, and I've gained from the proofs that I'm now certain of. I know that the knowledge of the understanding of knowledge. And I also know that there's not much point in debating it. There is no debating any of this sort of stuff. There is only discussions about these sort of things.
There can't be debate if there's not two equally valid arguments. And we know there's no arguments on the other side. They have none. But that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. We're after the discussion.
Mm-hmm.
We can make our own arguments. Because obviously an argument will also have a contrapositive, and like you can always reformulate it in a different manner. That's the beauty of the logical argument, logical statements.
Good stuff. I'm excited for it. I've got to get going though.
Okie dokie. I think
right.
we will be, unless anybody else has got anything, he's shutting it off early for tonight. Days it
I have a
tomorrow.
Buster request.
Yes.
Tomorrow's Free For All Friday.
Free for all Friday tomorrow. Yeah. That is, although things are going to be changing, free for all Fridays will remain, but free for all Fridays are for the on the level crew. Free for all Fridays. So if anybody does want to come in, please do come in for the discussion. But free for all Fridays from now on is the on the level. Free for all Fridays.
Yes, we get to talk about
Yeah.
what we want.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Go on, Rob. What was your request for Buster?
Getting to his microphone. Here he comes.
He's good. I'm gonna do a long one, I think.
Little extra long. He had a bolt in his hand or something, I'm sure. This is what it's like.
Gonna do the insane mix in honor of Nathan Oakley and the.
It always makes me laugh. I think that's good. Besides, it's Rob's favorite. Anyway.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah, that is Rob's favorite.
It's Rob's favorite.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Okay. Thank you very much for listening. We will be back tomorrow, Free for All Friday, 8 o'clock, usual time. I keep saying I'm going to put this other thing out. I don't know whether to put it out earlier on in the day or to save it for Saturday. What do you reckon? Maybe put it out early tomorrow. If I forget, I'll forget. But maybe put out another video earlier on tomorrow. See how it goes.
Yep.
Join us tomorrow, 8 o'clock at night, or if I put a video out earlier, listen to it, because it is The Ignorant Dogmatist, just to show you how bad it can get in modern day times with how little people understand of this new modern science. Pretty much, it's the science of ignorance. Okay, thank you very much for listening, and please enjoy Nathan Oakley.
I've been doing this for 4 fucking years. You didn't fucking get it by now. Get the fuck out of here.
Off to the rest of your spastics and tell them you can do nothing.
Yeah, you can, you stuttery.
Yes, spastic. Fuck off. Go away. Tell people you can't do
Your stupid globe, and I know you'll never back your claims.
fuck off. Back to your spastic retard.
Yeah, whatever, Nathan. You're a genius.
That's my fucking argument and demonstration of being a spastic.
Demeaning our argument with statements like, you can do fuck all with an angle.
It's like communicating the angle of
What can you do with an angle?
Shut up. Bitch, shut your fucking... Nobody was talking.
You shut the fuck up, Nathan.
I'll remove you if you don't shut up while I talk to Beth.
I will do what the fuck I like. Dad, you've been talking. You say to an audience, fuck all with an angle, and then mention me in that. You are personally insulted. Therefore, I'm going to take a strip on you based on your ignorance of that angle. That's what I'm going to do. Or you stuff it. Okay? So that would be doing something with an angle, wouldn't it then? Yeah, it would, you stupid fucking retard. So our problem is with you personally, is with you being stupid, not understanding that you can do something with an angle. An elevation angle measures and find your position on the flat plane. But 6, you don't understand this, and you're attempting to demean our argument with statements of stupidity, like you can do fuck all with an angle. You can do lots with an angle, unless you're a fucking retard, like you. You can measure your position on Earth by way of elevation angle. That is doing something with an angle. Zero comprehension of the argument that we put across. Responses to his claim.
Right, Ben, you can measure and find your position on the flat plane with an elevation angle.
Talk about your 2D surface.
It's called Adam Flat Earth
No,
Society.
you ain't got no purpose in life.
Self-obsessed little prick.
That you live on board.
Fuckwits, who told you not to explain the argument? The spastics I'm telling you to go back to. Did they not comprehend the argument and put it across to you? You're surrounded by fucking retards, Ben. Clearly, we had an argument. I'm giving it to you now.
Learn the fucking scientific method or get the fuck out of here.
I'm not surprised. Listen to you lot. You go fucking mental over a simple geometric fact. You've got a third of a triangle, and yet you're doing magic with it.
Adam, your Flat Earth Society, mate.
It's called Adam Flat Earth Society.
Call QE, Owen, or Wember all you like, yeah?
Okay, while Bev's here, I just want to say, if you're subscribed to Bev, you're a
So
spastic
fuck
like
off!
Bev, because he's going to make you stupid, like he's making all of us stupid. Unsubscribe to him immediately. Definitely don't give him any money, because the guy's a fucking retard. He's going to make you more stupid, and he's going to either be conveying his stupidity to you to soak up,
Adam,
or he's
your
fucking
Flat
lying
Earth
to you.
Society, mate.
Either way, he's poison.
Flat Earth
Unsubscribe
endorsement.
to
Thank you very much,
Shut up,
Nathan.
Bev, while I tell my audience
So
to
fuck off!
unsubscribe from you and never give you any money.
Oh,
Yeah,
telling your
that's what I'm telling
audience.
my
Okay.
While I tell you to shut up, Bev, I'll tell my audience, you, Bev, are a fucking thicko, and nobody should be subscribed to you.
Just living in reality, Nathan. Don't worry.
Shut up, while I tell the audience that you're fucking thick and they should be
So fuck off!
stubborn. Spoiled bitch. Excuse me, Daddy, issues. Adam Flat Earth Society. Kick him out, he's a fucking retard. He doesn't belong here, he's a spastic. Another Adam. He's done his attacks and me, and then Adam again with Adam bombs. I haven't just called Bev a spastic. I called Adam Flat Earth Society. Can't do anything with an angle. An angle will be acquired through a star and a GP on a plane. That's an argument. It's an ad bomb.
I think you guys are having a communication problem.
No, then we're all fucking angle.
So fuck off!
Dead area. Shut up! Shut up! Everybody else, can you shut the fuck up? Three ad bombs.
So fuck off!
Why do I get so
Yeah, you need
much
other things
resistance? I know
sometimes. When you oversimplify it down only, that means you don't understand the principle of celestial navigation. That's what we were pointing out there. I think you personally won't get cancelled a bunch about you as an individual. Like we give a fuck. Like we give a fuck about you and your personal problems that our people talk about. You are a wanker, and we will treat you like a wanker because that's how wankers get treated. That's personally. Well, this fucking stupid bitch attacks everybody personally. It's called Adam Flat Earth Society. Describe how the use of an angle to find your position on a flat plane when measuring it through the star singular angle at that point is useful because it will use the angle singular to support your position at sea on a plane. So that's an argument. It's not me just calling him thick like you just called Adam Flat Earth Society. I'm sick of this shit. Not
Yeah,
you, Nathan.
Understand? It was an argument against his assertion that you can do nothing with an angle. You can. You can save your life at sea by measuring that angle to the star. Called Adam Flat Earth Society. What does it actually do?
Measures angles.
You can do fuck all with an angle, Dad.
He said you can do fuck all with an angle and he is wrong.
Not you, Nathan. I'm talking to everyone.
And my fucking balls taste you unbelievable spastic.
Just an angle, Nathan. No need to get upset about it. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? Yeah.
Are we?
You can do fuck all with an angle.
I can demonstrate what you can do with an angle.
You've got one angle. What are you doing with it?
We're going to be doing it. We're going to draw
What
out
are you-
a circle of equal elevation. With
How
it.
do you
Yeah, we're
draw
gonna
a
be doing
circle
it
with an angle?
You just don't know what. 'cause you
How
don't
do
know
you
what
draw a
size you are.
circle with an angle?
Understand? It was an argument against his assertion that you can do nothing with an angle. You can. You can save your life at sea by measuring that angle to the star.
communication of an angle that you've measured. That's not doing something with it, right, Bev? You fucking retard, you spastic, you dumbo, you thick fuck.
I did concede.
Shut up, Owen!
Not much.
You can do